It's really difficult making guide videos sometimes when we're talking about spoilers, but today we are going over something that happened early to mid game, so I don't think it's like the worst spoiler you've ever seen. But I do want to give fair warning, so I'm just going to simply say this: if you don't want to miss out on some unique gear that you can get from certain traders and a unique arquebus, plus a bounty and an achievement, TLD, you've got to complete the Steel Resolve quest line before you complete the Ancient Soil quest. There you go, you don't need to watch the rest of the video. If you're really enhanced on the story, just go to the Emerald Stairs, find them quest lines and make sure, like I said, you fully complete the Steel Resolve quest line, and then that way you will be able to get the extra bonus stuff I'm talking about. Otherwise, I'm going to do a more detailed guide giving you short answers and then a bit more explained of where you can pick up some unique armors and the benefits of doing it. So let's go. So yes, if you go ahead and do the Ancient Soil, when you get out, Fior will be on fire unless you've completed the Steel Resolve quest. Now there's a couple ways that you can trigger the Steel Resolve quest. One of them is effectively that you have to go and find some missing rangers, and this will lead you onto a bigger conspiracy that someone is planning to attack the town of Fior. So there's shortcuts to this, so you don't have to go and do everything, but that's the general gist of it. If you do obviously have this happen, Fior becomes unplayable. You won't be able to go and talk to any of the traders bar one, so you're losing out on 2 traders that you can get exclusive gear from. And while you can still hand in a bunch of other bounties, one of them explicitly will cancel, and yeah, you won't be able to complete the Steel Resolve quest. So first things first, head to the ranger station in the east of the map. It's like directly east of Fior, otherwise go north from where you first enter the Emerald Stair. A couple of the leaders of the rangers outside will be talking about the fact that someone may be murdering other rangers, or there's some sort of traitor amongst their midst. You've then got to go ahead and find 2 of the rangers to go and talk to about clues about a missing ranger. So I'm going to explain this in more detail after we go through the shortened version. But as I said, once you spoke to him, you'll pick up the Steel Resolve quest. Don't go ahead and do the Ancient Soil until you've finished the Steel Resolve quest. Otherwise you will not be able to save the town of Fior. You should be able to skip even looking for the missing ranger, as you can just head directly to the location and take out the steel garrote. But if you do that, you'll miss out on getting the unique gun, so I figure I might as well show you that gun right now. It's called the One Last Trick, or at least I think you do miss out on it. There are some steps, so yeah, here's the gun. It'll be different level depending what level any of your highest items are, perhaps, but you will have bullets that basically bounce to additional enemies within range, and you get an additional 20% reload speed. Now it does look like it can be power shots as well. You do see a tiny little damage number pop up on the guard next to him who are fired on. And that reload speed, once you mix it with some other stuff, can be really OP. But if you don't really care about the gun and you just want to get and save Fior without having to spend probably a good hour traipsing around the map, then you need to head to the waterfall just outside Fior to the southwest. Go and investigate near the waterfall and you'll find an opening to a cave, and this is where the steel garrote are getting ready and prepared to basically burn Fior. Now there is an achievement associated with this, as I said, and some people are reporting it's not triggering correctly even though they've cleared out this cave. To be on the safe side, I probably would find the missing rangers even if it does take a bit longer. Otherwise, make sure you save your game at this point, go and clear out the cave, and then maybe progress to the ancient actual soil quest line, but it takes a while again, and so it will be a while before the actual achievement triggers. It's only when either the city's on fire or not. I'm just going to rattle off the quick beats of this cave, and then at the very end I will show you the Death Knight armour, which I will put in some timestamps. If you've already seen Fior burn, when you do arrive on this cave, instead of steel garrote it will be Zurips instead. So there's a couple sections in here. Obviously kill all of the steel garrote. Bearing in mind all these explosive barrels are what are meant to set Fior alight, so maybe blow them up just to be sure. And specifically look out for any notes that you come across. There'll be a bunch of them in here, at least 5 or maybe 6, and these will give you more details about the steel garrote's plans. There's also something else that I think might mean that it doesn't trigger properly if you're trying to save Fior. Make your way through to the next section, and there is another stealthy way that you can go. Take them all out again, and one of them will be a special ranked captain. Once they're dead, your companions will remark and talk about stuff, and you're given some options, but make sure you look around just to go and look on the body of the captain first. Go ahead and loot all the stuff, and then look for another 2 notes that are on a table at the far side of the cavern. You can see it's labelled 5th missive. These are the ones that you need to find in the cave. Again, just to be absolutely sure that you have triggered it correctly. They're not hard to find, just look in the other previous areas. I'm not going to take you through every single beat, but again, just to make sure you do get that achievement pop up eventually. I would also double check by making sure you go back to the governor and let him know exactly what's been going on. And then that's pretty much it. You won't actually get the achievement pop until you've finished the ancient soil quest and you've stepped outside of that temple. And then that's the point where normally you see the town of Fior on fire. But fingers crossed it wouldn't be that way. Some people still die because the Garrote still go ahead and attack, but you should be able to go ahead and access the town of Fior. And that's it. That's all there is to it. I'm going to go through some more beats now, talk about who the traitor is and show you guys how to get that gun. But otherwise, you should have stopped Fior from burning. So what I'm going to do now though is go through just some of the actual main locations you'll be going to solve the missing ranger. This is actually part of the Still Resolve story. It does give itself just a little bit more weight and lore, especially if you're into that thing. And effectively, this Ranger Dorso, one of the rangers that you first go and speak to, is the traitor. You get given the location of another ranger that you've got to go and speak to who's on the coast. If you rude to him and pretty much accuse him of murdering his ranger friend, he'll tell you the truth that basically he left him to be captured by some bandits. So the location will be marked on the map if you've talking to both the rangers, otherwise there is a bounty for the Trantons that will lead you here as well. There's a couple guards, or one at the very start of this sort of enclosed area. If you take them out you can actually sneak past the rest until you get to the top of the hill where the actual main targets are. There are 3 Tranton bandits to take care of and they're quite OP to be honest, so yeah, make sure you've got a good amount of gear or heals, and certainly hopefully you've got some sort of exceptional gear. There's also a couple regular highwaymen as well. Main health will be though for Big Willie Tranton, so try and take care of the other ones. I think they end up being ranged, or they might even try healing him. Some of the Tranton gear, namely I think the greaves and the boots, might be good for a dual dagger build, and I've shown that off in a separate video. When you free the ranger, he'll pretty much explain that he was lured to a location by Dorso, and he's got some other places you need to check out. You have to now go all the way over to a cave in the northwest where there's an ogre, but first you have to get through these doors by hitting the right points with electric. And the other one's just by the doorway, just make sure you break through if you can't see it. And you really can't miss it, the location marker pretty much shows you this route. Climb all the way up and you'll see a cave. Inside there is a ogre that you'll have to defeat, plus a small army of undead skeletons that will start spawning midway through the fight. On his body is the journal of another dead ranger that knew something about what was happening with this conspiracy. Also there is the Eophasian armour set in here, or the chest piece at least, so make sure you go through the door with the 2 shock stuff. I don't think it's the best armour. It gives you more protection during a day and also 20% extra healing properties from anything that heals you. But hey, you go and grab it if you want. Next we've got to now find another clue tied to a strangled tree, just slightly northwest of Fior across the river. There's a few bears guarding it, so yeah, we're close by, so take care of them first maybe. Not to mention a powerful demigun. The tree's pretty gnarly, you'll be able to see at the back of it. And there you go, you've got a clandestine note warning that the traitor is going to be meeting someone at the mouth of the river. You can pretty much parkour down the actual river rocks, and guess who's there? It's Dorso. Turns out she wants chaos to reign with the actual Steel Garrote, as she feels they're better protecting them against maybe other kind of things happening in the lands. And so yeah, it's almost reasonable, you can side with her if you want, but you won't necessarily get the reward, I don't think. So make sure you go through the conversation that you're either going to pretty much arrest her or out her or go ahead and kill her. It's worth noting though, you won't get any unique gear from her if you do kill her. So you can give the option to release her and threaten her that you never want to see her again. Just a little FYI, if you do speak to her with the right options, she will pretty much say yes, the Steel Garrote are hiding in the waterfall in the background. So don't immediately attack her, try and go through all the conversation beats till they're all exhausted. Now you can go and deal with the Steel Garrote straight away, or you can go ahead over to the Rangers and report exactly what's happened, and then they'll give you the RATBAGGERS one last trick. So hopefully you can see why they're intertwined, why they're kind of really part of the same quest line, although you don't necessarily have to go and do all that stuff with the Ranger, like I said, if you're not that bothered about the gun. And if you're doing an evil run, then you can actually go ahead and kill Durso or get her arrested, or let her go and she then gets arrested. Report your findings back to the Rangers and then leave the cave alone. Don't go and disrupt the steel Garrote. Fior will burn, and that might suit your evil playstyle, and it might contribute to part of the end game result that you might get. I'm not 100% sure. Yes, just to repeat, if I've already said it once, you will miss out on the achievement. So back to the caves, and now I'm going to show you the location of that Death Knight armour, because you know what, why not? In the first major room where you take on either the Azurips or the Steel Resolve, there'll be a little pool of water. Dive into it. Follow it through to this chest and you'll pick up the Death Knight armour. It's a heavy armour and you've got a chance, 10%, of getting 15% of your maximum health back when you take damage, plus 30% resistance to frost accumulation. And the second one is actually a small little hole on the corridor just as you come to that first area. If you follow it all the way up, you'll come across some traps. And there'll be a bunch of explodable barrels here, which will obviously maybe alert the enemies below. Inside you'll find the Death Knight boots. 10% resistance to poison and bleed accumulation and 20 extra maximum health. And then when I was leaving the Emerald Stairs, given that I'd missed actually saving Fior the first time, I got the gauntlets from fighting the captain pretty much at the exit point once you get permission to go through. So obviously you have to kill the captain Alfir to go ahead and pick up the gauntlets. If she's not here for you, she might actually be in Galawain's Tusk. It might just depend on what parts of the mission you did and whether or not you save Fior or not. You'll get 10% stamina cost while blocking reduction and 15 extra frost damage. And there you go, a little bit entwined, maybe a bit long, but again, I tried to compartmentalise it and just give it to you in small sections if you really didn't want it all spoiled. If I find out a distinct way it affects the very end game kind of results, I'll let you know, but I've got a feeling it won't. Let me know if it's been worth it. Are you an achievement hoarder? Can you absolutely not live without getting them? Or was you just keen on doing it on a second run? At least you know what to look for now. Until next time, Ratbags, check out the rest of my VOWED guides and I'll see you later.